One of my New Year's resolutions for 2020 was to normalize my relationship with food. And notice I used the word normalize. I didn't use the word eat right or eat less or lose weight. What I meant was that my relationship with food was kind of rocky to begin with. What had happened was that I often get into fights or at least conflicts with people who get in the way of me eating what I want to eat, my eating gets into it interferes with my social life, my professional life. A lot of it was a lot of the behaviors around the food was out of control. It wasn't just the food itself, or how much, or how little, or the eating patterns, or my appetite. It was the whole behavior complex around the food that was getting in the way. And I made a discovery. It's that you want to avoid too many distractions while you're eating. So one of the big problems that I had was that in the past, when I would go visit my family, I have my parents live in the East Coast, and then I have my extended family in Taipei. When I used to go to Taiwan, I used to naively stay at my grandparents' apartment, not because I wanted to save the hotel bill, but just because I wanted to spend more time with them. I mean, two of my grandparents are still alive. They're in their 80s. My grandpa passed away about 9 years ago now, and it just didn't seem logical that I would go there to stay at a hotel room. And the big problem was that Taiwan, the food culture is very different there. So when I get there, I'm very excited trying their food over there, right? And then my grandma, you gotta understand, she's 85 years old. She grew up during the Great Depression, during World War II, a lot of scarce times, right? She would get very upset that it was unhealthy for me to be eating so much, and she would make a ton of noise, especially because we speak Chinese. In Mandarin, the concept of you're eating too much, it's unhealthy, those are very loud words to use. In English, we tend to be more polite with it. Those are very loud words to use. And as a result, I would be eating, I'm going to eat it anyway. And you make noise, I'm not getting the utility out of it. Well, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to have to repeat, right? And then I would go visit my girlfriend in Rochester. I didn't seem to have the same problem there because she's a millennial just like me, right? She didn't grow up in a time where people had to conserve, and so she sees eating more as just part of the vacation ritual, right? And she doesn't make noise, and I satisfy myself and done, right? And then I visit another friend in Eastern Europe, and she grew up during a hyperinflation period. She makes a ton of noise. Fortunately, English is her second language, so when she's making noise about it, it doesn't flow very well, so that's good too. And I end up not having to, I eat and I satisfy and I'm done. And now when I go to Taiwan, I stay in my own hotel room. Yeah, the first day I get there, I might be excited about the food. I get satisfied, done. Right? It makes me realize that maybe we should turn off the computer, turn off the cell phone, and just eat, right? Oh, that's a big one for me because I write a lot of computer games. I talked about in the last video how I've spent 10,000 hours writing computer games. And I still haven't scratched the surface. It's really hard to spend 10,000 hours on something without having food be part of the mix. So that's going to be my challenge in the coming months. But just recognizing from my experience dealing with these people. And yeah, so earlier this week, I was talking to my mother on the phone, and I asked her, would it disappoint you if I stayed in a hotel when I go home to you and my dad, and sometimes my brother likes to come home. I asked them, would it disappoint them if I stayed in the hotel and we could just mingle together in the city? And my mom said, no, that's fine. That's fine. Their new home is kind of too small to anyway, so she's okay with that. I wasn't trying to be cheap or anything. I was just trying to spend more time with my family, but unfortunately we have different lifestyles, and it has worked very well this way. Thanks for watching.